Come on. What's up, everybody? Happy Saturdays. Look at him getting his sipping on.
Hey, I've been sick for too many days. I ain't been drinking no beer, and it's time to drink some beer, baby.
Sweet tea.
Sweetwater 420. I love it. ATL, baby. ATL. And don't forget, the king is back, okay? If you didn't know, the king
Look at him. He's feeling that. I was like,
well, I mean, you know, when you kick over the 50% of not feeling like shit, then you just gotta just push for that extra. You know, you just gotta make yourself feel better with positivity and beer.
Come on.
I got a couple things I gotta shout out real quick for the homies, and then we got an awesome guest. We got KD, Magnum, Exotics, Rescue.
Come on.
It's going to be awesome. If you see that QR code up there on the side, it's going to be up all show. If you're lucky enough to be watching it on a TV and on a mobile phone, so you can see us prime time, you can scan that and check out their website and learn everything about them. And with that, I got some stuff I need to run. So I'm going to take that off. We're going to go down here. I'm going to tell y'all exactly every move I make.
Here at Greenline Morphs, I am dedicated to producing the very best in high-quality ball python combos while upholding the highest standards of integrity and customer service. Every ball python I produce is a reflection of my commitment to excellence. Health, genetics, and overall quality are my top priorities. I do not cut corners, and I will not compromise my integrity.
Owned and operated by four-time combat veteran Jay Capps, Greenline Morphs is a military-oriented ball python breeding operation built on the core values of discipline, integrity, and attention to detail.
My mission is simple: to provide my customers with investment-quality ball pythons, backed by pristine customer service. Whether you're a breeder looking to elevate your collection or a collector searching for a standout animal, you can trust that every Greenline Morphs animal meets the highest standards in the industry.
Come on.
Hell yeah. You know, I got to run Jay's commercial. First of all, it's the best commercial in the business right now. I mean, that is legit. If he puts that much time into his commercial, thank you. Look, we just lost Justin for some weird reason. I don't like being like this. But yeah, he'll come back. Don't worry. Check out Jay at Greenline, and don't forget, I can't hear you.
Hitting buttons.
Yeah, now I got you. You're good. And while you're checking out Jay afterwards, go to www.thefatmannation.com and get your shirt or beanie. You can pick either one, or you can get all three and be a G and support your troops and your first responders. Sorry, it's been a day.
It took you a second, Chuchi.
You know what I mean? It's been a day, and we didn't do a show last week, so I'm trying to get in the swing of things, you know. Got one more thing to run by everybody. It's 13 seconds long. Enjoy. Tell them where to go, Justin, so I don't screw this up, too.
Go to Husbandry Pro. That's where you got to go. You put in that HP RWO 60 and get your 60 days on us. You know what I'm saying?
RWO HP 60. But it was almost there. You were almost there, Jay.
Right?
RWO HP 60.
That's what I said.
Oh, I thought you said it backwards. My bad.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So we got some people in the comments, of course, but we're going to bring our guest up so she doesn't get too bored back there and leave us in the dust.
And I'll start throwing the comments up.
Yeah. So without further ado, and make sure, everybody, don't forget the QR code.
QR code.
What's up?
Hi.
What up? What up? Got Ken. We got
What's
first.
up, Ken?
We got the Choo-Choo boy.
We're gonna say hey to some folks real quick.
Duval. Got the Catalina more.
What's up, Catalina? I love that name, man.
Right, that is pretty sweet. Got Green Line J.
What's
There,
up, man?
right there.
That's the man.
Tire God.
What's up?
Got Brave. What's up, Brave?
Brave.
Got Dennis West 4106. What's up, Dennis West?
What's up? I think you were in one of the shows last time, and people were giving you shit about the Raiders, but you know I think they have a cool logo and shit. So rock on, Raiders.
Mission. What's up, Mission?
I feel
texted-
better.
Got a drink on today.
I feel better.
We've got the whiskey. What up, Keys?
What's up, man?
Got the homie in the house.
Hell yeah.
Then we
Mariah,
got what's up, Mariah?
good to see you.
Look, another new person. Megan
Megan
Gold.
Gold,
Hi,
awesome.
Megan.
That's one of your fans. Bringing
Go.
new people. I love it. I love it. We got one more, and then we can get into this.
We got Karina.
We got
G-
the wife.
Wife. Let's
We
go.
got the wife of _ G Paul.
I'm locked in the closet tonight. That's what she does. She got him trapped up.
Tell G Paul he better get his ass up here. Okay, we miss G Paul. I want G Paul in my life.
Come on.
So what's up? You want to tell us about yourself? What you know? What's the spiel, man?
Yeah, so I am the owner of Magnum Exotics Reptile Rescue. We've been running for almost 4 years now. April will be 4 years. I was a breeder on and off for like 9-10 years of leopard geckos, bearded dragons, ball pythons, and crested geckos. And it just wasn't for me. Like, I enjoy breeding, but I didn't realize how much I loved rescuing until I got into it after breeding kind of ended. The last like year or two of breeding, I just became a sanctuary without knowing it. People just knew I had a lot of animals. Y'all probably deal with this too, where people know you have a lot, so they just give you stuff. And I became a sanctuary without even knowing it. And it just got to like 30 animals, no volunteers, no nothing,
Like
just
that.
all on me. Yes, like that. It happened very quick. And it wasn't working. I kept animals that didn't like me. I didn't like them. It was a hate relationship. And I just decided that I didn't have time for breeding anyways, because I was taking on so much more. And I was really enjoying like bringing in these animals and helping them out. So I completely stopped breeding. I rehomed all but 3 of my breeders because those were like the OGs. I had to keep them. And I did this in the span of like, 3 years. It wasn't until like maybe 6 months ago I got rid of the last one because I was very picky about where they were going. And some of them took me a long time to finally be like, yeah, as much as I love you, I don't have time as much as I used to. So I have big rules on what gets to stay and what doesn't. And yeah, there's so much more to talk about, but we have so much time.
Well, that's a hard thing, right? Honestly, like I've had to do it too. When I moved the last time from here, I had to get rid of a bunch of lizards and stuff, like nice big lizards that I've had for a while, and I loved them, and it took forever to get them tame or stuff like that. So, and it's hard to have to come to the realization, I can't really properly do this right now. Whatever your situation is, you know what I'm saying? And by the way, everybody on Instagram, get your asses on YouTube, man. The link in the description is lame, bro. The only reason I'm on Instagram is so that y'all see it and come over here because y'all are Instagram nights, and I know y'all are doomed on Instagram. So
You just sit there and scroll through Instagram all day, Come on over to YouTube.
losers.
Too easy to get off and go to the next video.
All right.
The hell yeah. So, I guess we'll stay on that route. What made you want to do reptiles in general, even when you started breeding and keeping in the first place,
Yeah. It all started with my first ever reptile, which I still have till this day. He's 14 years old now. His name is Leilani, which we didn't know he was a boy at the time, but he is a leopard gecko, one from PetSmart or Petco. I think it was PetSmart. But we got him, 14 years ago for me and my older sister. And of course, like two kids can't share one pet. So it became a second one and a third one and even more. And looking back on how my family just took so much information from the pet store and just trusted it. It's just like crazy. And now I'm like a big advocate of like proper education. But that's how it started. And I convinced my parents on a bearded dragon next. I snuck a snake into the house. Don't recommend it, but got away with it for months. I had an enclosure in the closet. I was trying to see that no one saw, so like I got away with stuff, and it just kept piling up.
So you're a part of the reptile life in like the not that long, like you said, like 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I wish I still had my my first reptile. It was just a little leopard gecko named Pebbles. And I kept it, and that was in the 90s. So I kept it on a heat rock and sand, And it lived for years. Like that lizard lived so long. I moved out when I was like 17. I got the lizard when I was like 3 or 5 or some shit. I mean, I was little bitty. And I just had to have it. So I think my grandma or my mom got it, but whatever. And I kept it. It was in a 10-gallon tank with a heat rock, a turtle shell, a water dish, and it ate crickets its whole life. It never had anything but crickets. I mean, we're talking about the mid 90s, people. Like, don't hate on me, bro. It's not like this was it. They used to tell us to feed our iguana dog food, bro. So I don't want to hear it. Okay. So, but yeah,
I was about to say too, think about it. Now heat rocks are definitely frowned upon, and that was
you'll
like
get fucking shunned.
That was
get shunned.
I can't tell you how many adopters I've had to tell to get that out of their tank, though. Yep. It's still, there's just so much
but that's kind of what I'm getting at, though, is to be honest, and that's why I said that, because now it's frowned upon, it's shunnable in the community, but back then it was acceptable, and that was what the recommendation was, right?
Yeah.
My thing is the animals that I've had, turtles and iguanas, and in the 90s, and we did all those bad things according to science today, right? Or herpiculture societies today. So, but they never had problems. They never got hurt. They never got burned. That leopard gecko was huge. It lived so long. I gave it away to my friend. He had it for like 10 years. And then he gave it to his little sister. And then she had that thing still probably kicking in the same tank.
I will say, with the more knowledge we learned, animals like reptiles' lifespans are getting longer, though. Like we're having them live longer than they would ever in the wild. And
100%.
Even before, they weren't living as long as in captivity as they are now. Some of them.
Well, that's why I try not to be harsh about it to people, and that's why I'm sure you're not like that at all. You want me to call you KD or Mag, triple trip mag to the dag, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so I'm sure you're not like this, but most people are douchebags about it. They're like, how dare you? You suck. You shouldn't ever keep a heat rock in there. And it's like, instead of being a douche about it, I've learned that if you, like, I see people with stuck shed on YouTube, really bad, and they have like the worst enclosure ever, and people are bashing them, making them hate the reptiles. I'll just be like, try this. And that helps so much. Just, you don't even have to be nice. You just don't have to be a dick,
Yeah, I'll say the knowledge you share to others is always more effective if you come at a place of understanding and compassion. Yeah, we all care about the animal, but are they going to listen to someone screaming at them, or are they going to listen to someone walking them through the process? And, everyone's going to take it to heart. The reptile community is an amazing community, but a lot of us are my way or the highway. I can
It's
say I
also
have
very
hard stances.
toxic. It
Yes.
can also be toxic as shit. Yeah.
So it's very important to remember that these are all humans. Like, maybe they didn't even make this mistake. Maybe they were told by someone that they thought they could trust. Like, all of us thought we could trust someone at some point with the reptile knowledge they're giving us, and we found out that they were wrong. It's impossible you don't have someone that has told you something that was just completely wrong. And it's just all about like making it nice, you know. You want to make sure the animal gets right. I will 100%. When people are surrendering, they are surrendering, and they're maybe never going to get another reptile, but it will be in my conscience for days if I don't tell them, hey, next time you get a reptile, if you do get another reptile, instead we're going to do this to prevent this. And if it's something that, you know, they did so horrendously and the animal is so injured from it, me beating them up does not change the fact that this animal is now going to get help and we're going to better it. And they're going to learn from the situation.
That couldn't have said it better. So once you started breeding, you know, breeding's fun, but I really want to talk about the damn the rescue, because that, you know, I know from experience doing rescues, especially with reptiles, like you said earlier, people literally just will drop them off at your doorstep or your work or anywhere they know you are if they know that you do it. So I mean, you know, you say that you kind of did it by accident. And it is hell a lot of times for people that don't know. You know, she's smiling right now, but she's probably got a billion things going on in her mind. So what made you just want to stay doing it? I mean,
I think I had a lot of like severe cases when I first started. One of our educators is a 6-foot boa constrictor, and she still got scars till this day from the mistreatment that she went through. She had stuck shed coming off of her, ripping scales off of her, and the bleeding, and even there was some bruising, which is really hard to see on snakes, but there was some bruising on her. You could see her spine, her ribs. If you see a snake's ribs, that's crazy. That is hard to achieve. Yeah. And it was just the animals like that even her took like 8 months to rehabilitate, but rehabilitating them, and then she was supposed to leave. She was not supposed to stay, but she did. She worked her way in. But it's just seeing them from that first stage to now the next stage. Since we're just such a big rescue now, like we're not big in the amount we take in, but we're big as in we have so much to do. I've had to delegate a lot of those tasks to fosters, and now they're going through the same, you know, achievements I went through with each reptile. And I still do a lot of that kind of stuff too. There's some things that they're not allowed to do, like medications and stuff like that. But for the most part, it's just that achievement of helping this animal where, you know, they could have died. They could have been let outside. This person was not going to get medical treatment for them, or they didn't even know they needed medical treatment. A lot of the animals that come in, people didn't even know were sick. So it's just seeing that they get better and seeing them thrive is just amazing.
Come on.
Nice.
I asked, like, what's like the worst you've had to really like deal with so far? Like, it's really like you're like, all right, look, this is almost make or break me.
This is something that like hurt really badly. I think this was maybe a year or two ago. We don't really do emergency intakes here. We just don't have the capacity to do it, but I've done it on a few occasions where I can throw up a tank and I can make it work. Right. For special circumstances. Unfortunately, an emergency isn't, I have to move in a week. Unfortunately, you should have planned ahead of time. And I have a whole list of other rescues you can reach out to, but an emergency that happened was a bearded dragon. This family, oh my God, this woman had so many kids. I was shocked with how many kids came in with her. But they all come in and they're all so concerned about this bearded dragon. They found it on a hike. It's missing all but like 3 of its toes. It's got almost like a cat-sized tooth punctured into its tail. It was so underweight. It was barely moving, and it was just so upsetting. And we rushed it to the vet immediately, and they just didn't know how long he had been infected or like ill like this, and it wasn't likely he was even going to survive, the next few days. So we're a big advocate of, we're not trying to put down every animal. I think we've only ever had to do 5, but he was one of them, and it was just, he's going to suffer so much more, and he's probably not going to live.
Yep.
And that's one that's stuck in my head for years, of someone just let this bearded dragon go, and this is what happened.
Let it out. It seems like let it outside,
and a lot of times I always try to give. I'm a big give a benefit of a doubt kind of guy, and I always try to think the best in the world, even though the world is shit. So I always just try to think. What helps me not worry about shit is thinking, well, maybe that lizard, they had it outside, it jumped out of their hand and it took off, or they didn't just let it go. And a lot of times that does happen, though. Let's be real. But in my mind, I have to just try not to think like that and just try to be like, well, maybe it just got out and got loose or something.
Because it was winter, that's why I'm a big person of like, I'm just going to believe this person didn't know they were doing wrong by their animal.
Me too.
Because 90% of the time they didn't know, they weren't taught properly, or
So
technically
it was winter time.
It was winter, so
they
didn't have it. They didn't.
I could say they probably could have came home and went in brumation, and they thought it was dead or something. They went outside and maybe buried it some, and it got warm from being buried. Then it brought itself out of brumation. It started roaming around, this shit I just think
it could be
Y'all
anything.
are too optimistic for me then. I thought I was optimistic. Apparently not.
But I'm afraid of dragons, and they go in brumation outside here in Florida. I keep them outside all year round. And when they go in brumation in the wintertime, I mean, they're in a cave. They don't open their eyes, don't move. You barely see them breathing. They look
I
dead.
get a lot of calls about, brumation and people worrying about them. I never have anyone think they're dead. I have a lot of people thinking they're dying.
I thought mine was dying when it was going.
Not deceased,
massive,
dying.
Right.
I had it for years and it never brumated. And then one year it just decided it was gonna fucking brumate, and dude, its legs was back.
Yeah.
And then once you've seen enough dead lizards and you see a lizard's legs back like that and its head down and shit, you're just like, oh my god. And you would touch it, dude, like Justin saying, it was not going to open its eyes.
Oh no, it won't move or anything. You can pick it up, it's just gonna lay there.
I tried to open its mouth and like drop water on its nose, and it wouldn't even move, bro. And I was like, fuck.
And don't do that because you could drown it, maybe.
It never started stinking though. And that's what I was waiting on. If it would have stunk, if it would have been dead, it would have stunk like hell.
I'm glad you waited.
Yeah. No, it was. We had a. It was fucking like it would eat little mice. Like was
it gerbils or hamsters that back in the day people used to always it's dead.
Yeah.
And it wasn't dead.
I remember that
years later that these things were going in brumation, and we're like, oh shit,
Yeah, that is cool that he can keep his shit outside like that. I've seen it. Like, I've been over there, and it is awesome how he has it. They're just outside living their best life. Like, it was pouring down, raining. They're out there just fucking rocking out in the rain. Like, it was a party, dude, like a wet party.
I'm telling you, this Daytona, we're getting a monitor. And I'm going to have a monitor outside, too. That is coming.
That's the one thing I hate about VA. Their reptiles do not stay outside for long.
Yeah, I bring my monitor in like maybe 5 nights out of the year, and I'll just put it in a tub and bring it in my reptile room, and it'll chill. But by the morning, I can just take it back out.
That's further down south, but yeah, it does happen. It does happen sometimes. I wouldn't say Bosa could answer that more though, but I say like maybe some years it can happen when it gets really cold here. But,
so do you like take in big lizards and stuff? I mean, is that something you do? Like,
so we've taken in big species of lizards, but we usually don't take them in full grown. Our largest tank is 6 foot by 3 foot. A big rule I have on tanks is unless it's for an educator reptile that stays here permanently, we're not buying any more tanks because we just do not have the money for it. So the biggest one we have donated is a 6 foot by 3 foot. And that one, we can have baby salves in it, Savannah monitors. Young tegus, we've done 2.
Come on.
That's probably about it, because most of the time when we get calls about them, they're full grown, so we can't take them in. I personally have a salve to the side of me, and that's a 6 foot by 2 foot, and he's getting out in March, and it's just perfect timing because the tank was getting just to be a little light, and I was getting a little uncomfortable with the rotation room he had.
Right.
The space, the length was fine, but this is only a 2 foot deep compared to my foster, who has the 3 foot deep for the other Savannah monitor. And then we have a tegu here also at the rescue, but he's got a custom built, so he's permanently here. But for the most part, I want to take in large lizards. We just don't have space for them. They never leave. Like, each of our Savannah monitors have been here for over a year and have been ready for over a year to find their friends.
Well, if you have people telling you they have big monitors, like Asian water monitors, for instance, and they don't want them, you can send them my way because I got plenty of room, okay? And they can live outside their best life.
I will keep that in mind because it is hard to find placements for large lizards.
I'm about to buy a new enclosure for outside for mine because it's getting bigger, but then I'll just have another enclosure. And I can always find wood at where I work and stuff. You know, there's wood everywhere. So I love big lizards.
The hardest part with them is we have adoption requirements for all the reptiles to leave. We have housing requirements, we have heating requirements, we have UVB requirements, we have humidity requirements.
And you request, I'm sure, proof of caging and whatever before you even let them.
Yep. And the hardest thing,
that's sweet.
You have to do that if you do a rescue because if not, you're going to put an animal that you took all that time to get better and put them into another bad environment.
Yep.
Yeah, and you also have to think about everyone who's surrendering. A lot of people don't want to, you know, but they understand they need to. And when they do it, it's really hard, and they need to trust you. And most of the animals are coming in way too small of enclosures. You know, we were talking about liver geckos being in 10 gallons. Our minimum requirement is 40 gallons, which is kind of controversial. Some people think it should be bigger. We always
and honestly, that whole argument about tank size, because we'll touch on that for a second since you brought it up, because PetSmart, for instance, if you go to PetSmart and you buy a bearded dragon, right, that bearded dragon, let's just be real. I don't even think PetSmart should be selling these bearded dragons that are this fucking tiny, bro.
Nope.
It's literally this big, everybody, okay? It's no longer than my fucking
the biggest problem with that, I will say, first of all, the biggest problem is PetSmart. They are massively produced, and there's a virus called the Indino virus, and a lot of the PetSmart bearded dragons, which is why I tell a lot of people don't get them from PetSmart, have the Indino virus. I know
that's true too, but PetSmart won't even sell you a bearded dragon if you tell them that you're going to buy that 10-gallon. Okay.
Oh yeah, that too.
Let me be real. Let me be real.
The wrong knowledge. They know the wrong knowledge.
No, I'm going to be real. They are correct in the sense that that lizard will need, and let's just be real. If you really want to get real about it, a full-grown. My bearded dragon was big, bro. And if you put it in a 40-gallon aquarium, it was not going to be living its good life. You had to have like a 75-gallon at the least for this bitch, right? So they'll tell you a 40-gallon, but I'm not putting. I know I have reptiles, bro, and for PetSmart to tell me that they can't sell me a bearded dragon that big and put it in a 10-gallon aquarium till it gets the size, until I put it in a bigger aquarium or tank or whatever you're doing with it, I would never put that little of a lizard or a gecko or anything. These motherfuckers look like they just come out of the egg for real. It's that small, so. To me, it's not that big of a deal. Now, like you said, if it's bigger and it's forever home, yeah, of course, 40 or better is the standard, right? You don't want to go under that. I think there's some confusion. That's why I wanted to kind of hit on that, because I think it hurts a lot of people's feelings when they go, because like my stepdaughter at the time wanted one. And I know I have enclosures at home empty because I did the rescue for so long, and we had
Mhm.
I'm not going to just throw these bitches away. I spent thousands on these enclosures, you know? So I'm like, I have a bigger one, but I need this smaller one for right now. And they're like, no, you're an idiot because it can't go in something that small. They'll do that about fish and everything. And I mean, well, when I was growing up, you could have a goldfish in a little bitty bowl and it would
Yep.
live forever if you kept the water clean and did what you were supposed to. And they're like, no, you can't have a goldfish in nothing smaller than a 20-gallon aquarium. And it's like, man, I don't know. I don't know if that's right. Like, I don't know. Like,
So for me, I usually find this is just a different point of view.
no,
I
yeah,
usually
yeah. Don't get me wrong. I am all
Mhm.
about however anyone wants to do it, for sure.
So what I usually find is when I'm talking to people, I can usually gauge if they would upgrade their animal, but you never know. Life can change. Things can get really busy. Money can get tight. And honestly, buying the end goal enclosure, usually you are better off. For animals that get stressed out, that are babies put into too big of an enclosure, I understand, but there is really great ways to clutter. We teach adopters the box method. I don't know if you guys know about that,
Yeah, I
but
know
where you
exactly what you're talking about.
put a massive box in there and slowly downgrade the box as the animal grows. And you
Mhm.
just saved yourself a ton of money. You saved yourself 3 upgrades. So that's a nice little perk of going big first. And then the other thing is that I never have to have in my adoption forms that we will come and check your enclosures. There's rescues that do that for reptiles. There's rescues for like animals, general animals, where they're
Animals in
allowed to
general, yeah.
come check your house. I don't want to do that. That's uncomfortable. And I don't want you guys to be uncomfortable by me doing that. I rather just know that I set you up right to begin with. Now, mind you, we never really get babies. It's not very often we get babies, but for a bearded dragon, it's a 120-gallon minimum. And my personal one is just a baby now. And we were talking about PetSmart. She's an amputee. She's 3-legged. Her name is Kickstand. She's pretty small. Maybe just hitting a foot.
That was from PetSmart. Someone got it from PetSmart.
Yep.
Yeah, because they put 20 of them in a little bitty cube and they eat each other.
Yep.
I
And
can't hear you, bro.
And then Dinovirus is kind of weird too because some of them can actually live a full life with it.
Yeah.
They just have it,
Well, Justin's a bearded dragon guy. He's stuck on that
No,
damn
they're
idea.
amazing pets. The setup to begin with is a little tricky, getting everything perfect, but once you get your system going, they're amazing.
Oh, I love the only thing about bearded dragons that I had that forever, and then I started doing shows, and I just sold the whole thing to this kid. And yeah, you don't want me to come to your house, Adrian. I'll come showing up in some skimpy outfit and steal you from your old lady. But yeah, I don't even remember what I was talking about.
We were just talking about the bearded dragons.
Adrian made me think about sexy time. Oh, okay. So, like, you were talking about like space is limited and all of this stuff, and I'm gonna run a commercial after you, say your side of the story or if you could benefit from it. But have you seen like Vision? Right? They make a Versa rack, and it's so where you can have lighting, like you can have UVB, but you can still have the rack system. So, like, and it saves on space. What is your before we run the commercial, what is your opinions on racks?
So I absolutely love racks if you do them right. I am a little controversial. I get along with so many breeders, and I am never gonna come in your place and say you're doing it wrong. But this is just my personal opinion.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
From getting snakes with upper respiratories from being kept in rack systems, from getting snakes that have arthritis from being kept in too small of a enclosure. As long as the rack itself is big enough, then it's not a problem. I find for adopters, tanks are usually better because the fact that we don't have any of our reptiles go to breeders except for Savannah monitors because we're very pro of a breeding program starting on them. But for most of our reptiles, we're trying to get them to adopters. So we kind of show what we want them to do as well. we would be able to take in so many more reptiles space-wise if we did racks, but we just take in so many different kinds. Tanks are easier anyways.
Yeah.
But as long as lighting, heating, and space is ample, racks aren't really a big deal to me, especially for breeders when they're just temporary. If you have animals staying in them for years, I'm a little more iffy on that.
Yeah, I mean, like my boa, my water monitor, my tortoise, they all have like nice enclosures, but I'm actually thinking about too, like, because I did, the rescue for a while, but I didn't have the cool vision deal. So I wasn't really having all the cool stuff to play with, but I feel like it would be easier in the sense of keeping things clean, fat, everything is easier, streamlined that way. I feel like if I would have had the access to the stuff I have now when I did that, it would have made my life so much easier. Like snake wise, let's just say if you're not talking about lizards that need UVB or anything like that, we're just talking about regular snake rats like me and Justin got behind us. That is so much easier to clean than a tank, right?
100%. And I'm gonna be real, if we can ever get a massive place where we can have a rack just dedicated to specific size snakes, then that might be something we go into. A lot of the time, the nice thing about the tanks is we do the UVB for snakes because they've gone most likely their whole life without it. But since they're only staying with us temporarily, I wouldn't see much of a problem because we make the adopters get UVB and then they will have years of it. So the small, anywhere from 2 months to 6 months, they're with us for most snakes. It's not really a big concern, but it would definitely help us help more reptiles in the long run with how many more reptiles we could take in with racks.
Yeah, that's a good point. And what made me think about it is I seen it a long time ago when Emily and Ed at Snake Discovery, they got their big educational rescue people. They rescue hundreds of animals a year. Mm-hmm. So I was looking at what they were doing when I was doing it, of course, trying to learn, because you got to learn from people that know what they're doing. And you got to be bold enough to know that you got to learn. But they put all their rescues in snakes anyway, in racks. And then, it's just easy for them. And I was like, damn, that's a good idea. But I do like what you said about putting your animals in caging because it gets them used to, they're going to go in a cage wherever you're sending them to. So, and Vision on the commercial we're about to show, if you watch it, it has these new cool, it's like stackable bins, like tote bins that are big as hell. Like they have different sizes and you can have them with windows on all sides. You can have doors, opening doors, ventilation. You can have lighting, fans.
Windows are very important because a lot of the snakes we get in, a lot of the reptiles in general, have not been touched in years, haven't been handled, haven't been loved on. Or if they have, very rarely. So we get a lot of skittish snakes, and we find that sometimes when they're going to like fosters, like a good example is we just had a retic leave not too long ago, and a blacked out grow tent was nice when it was here, went to the foster into the grow tent, and was mean when it left.
Well, you'll like these bins for sure, I think.
Can't wait to see them.
So we'll go ahead and run that, and I'm going to go grab a beer, and we'll be right back.
Mark with Vision here. We're showing off the new Visionarium. See a couple examples here. These are going to be a new product from us coming out hopefully the end of the year. It is modeled off our V35 and V70 tub, 3x height. So we're doing about 15 inches on this. You'll have options for doors on one side or up to all four sides on each of the tubs. We got vents on the front and the back. We will have options for windows as well if you just want that instead of the doors. We'll have perforated options and glass options. This was the V35. This is going to be the V70, so you get a little bit bigger option. We have a bearded dragon set up here and a pixie frog in this one. Show a little bit of versatility of using it for a desert species versus tropical. We have lids that are built in as well. These are going to have options for your lighting. These are going to be a halogen light or an LED light, and they will snap into the lid. C5 lighting, other UVB and halogen lighting options. Options will be available for misters, temperature probes, and fans, depending on what the customer wants.
go to www.visionproducts.us or custom cages and customaquariums.com.
You see it down there on the bottom on either side. Hit them up, man. If you got like aquatics, custom aquariums, dope. Shout out, huge shout out to Mark and the Vision team. We love y'all. We couldn't do it without you. Y'all rock. But did you see those tubs? Those are dope, right?
I am a big fan of how far the reptile world has come with, tubs, grow tents are now being turned into reptile tents. Like, it is so much easier and cheaper to keep reptiles now. And I really did like those cages. They look pretty good. The windows were a lot bigger than I expected. They really put some thought into it.
You can get them all for, and you know what the awesome thing about Vision, the company is that they had a release date for these things and everybody was excited, right? But they found a flaw. So they shut down production and they fixed it.
That's amazing.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and people can get mad about it, whatever, but it's like, do you want them to sell you a shitty product? Mm-hmm. No. Like, thank you for doing that. Like, but
they fixed it,
Yeah, even those Versa racks, like I know you saw the racks with the lighting on top of it. Mm-hmm. That's cool as hell to me. Like, the innovation, like you said, a lot more
companies do that. It's really helpful, and it keeps a lot of people from making the mistake of putting lighting inside the enclosure for like snakes. Commonly people are like, "Oh, this is how it was online," but snakes are so prone to burn and fire risk where they're hanging on those lamps, they'll burn themselves, or they'll break it and start a fire.
Oh yeah, well, my Tegu, I had the lights inside because it acted as a desk or like a dresser pretty much. I put the TV on like a TV stand essentially. Yeah. But I put it in there and you're right. The first time, and this was a long time ago, I'm talking about like I don't know. It was like about maybe 10 years ago, I guess. I put the lamps inside, but I didn't put the caging around it. And the first time one of them bulbs broke and I had to like grab the lizard out, a big ass Tegu really quick before it got cut up or licked it or whatever, because they got back when I had those lights, it was the high sodium lights.
Yeah.
The high pressure sodium heat lamps. So when they bust, they let off that powder.
Yep.
And so it was sketch, right? Mm-hmm. And I had to clean out the whole fucking enclosure, dude. And it sucked. So I know exactly what you're talking about. They will definitely break the shit out of them light bulbs.
Not a promo at all, but ceramic heat emitters and Arcadia bulbs are the ones that are least likely to just explode on you. If you have any lights inside the enclosure, which I do too, my Tegu has his lights inside the enclosure. He's lazy and old. He's not going to do anything to them. So I don't have to worry about him like climbing or breaking them or anything like that.
Not an infatuation with it.
Shatter risk, that's something that not a lot of people think of. I haven't had too many bulbs explode on me or shatter like that, but I've had
scary. It's a scary. You hear it, like Like we were just watching TV, and then all of a sudden we heard poof, and the light went off in the cage, and I was like, "Oh shit!" And I jumped up and did what I had to do. But it was like if I wouldn't have been there,
that's about
what would have happened, And that's funny that you said heat emitters and Arcadia bulbs and shit, because I literally got a heat emitter and put the big long, what was it, like 4 foot Arcadia bulb, and then I was pissed when all the rigmarole of the Arcadia getting it into the U.S. deal was happening.
Oh yeah,
Kevin McCurley was talking about it, and he got me all upset about it. And then I went to the show in Georgia, Bob Booth's show, where I seen you, Justin, and we were looking for them because I was going to buy all of them, but they didn't have them. They was like, we can't get them.
Yeah.
Nope. It's crazy how that should just like change just like that.
Well, I think what it was there was something to do with the light that was either inside of it or how it was made or whatever it was, that there was a problem with it in the United States or some shit. I don't know. I don't really know the ins and outs. All I know is that you couldn't get them.
You couldn't get them for a while.
I don't know if it was like taxing or import reasons or whatever it was, but yeah, you couldn't get it, or you couldn't get the certain UVB. You know what I'm saying?
I switched to LED UVB lights out from the regular LED lights.
Yeah, and I don't personally like the LED shit. I mean,
I don't
and
either.
Justin you got LED, don't you, for that chameleon?
For it's I got LED and I got a regular heat bulb, but the LED bulb that I have in mind is for the plants more. It's not.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
a hybrid plant one for my chameleon and stuff. It's actually pretty sweet. It's got a little.
I don't know, you know. I
The
never
LEDs I've never really touched with UVB. I've only really found most people using those for like the plants.
Yep.
And
yeah, like a grow light. Yeah.
Yep.
That's what mine has. Mine has the LED and it has the UVB in it, and then of course I have a basking bulb for it too, but that's separate than that little device it has.
So I'm sure you we'll throw the QR code up real quick for everybody. I took it down for the commercial. So rescuing, let's talk about financing. We don't have to talk about numbers, but it gets expensive as crap, right? And I'm sure you're a nonprofit, I'm sure. But are you like a LLC or like a business license? I mean, how's that work?
So LLC, no. We were actually going to go the 501c3 route, and that's why we didn't go with the LLC. But then I ended up changing my mind again. And the thing is, when I first started, I didn't really care about like getting all that stuff together. I just cared about helping as many animals as possible. Now I care about that stuff. So when it comes,
you kind of have to now once
Yeah.
you get to the point. That's why I was asking, because once you get to a certain point, it's stupid not to do something like that, you know, because you're going to end up paying for it in the end if you don't.
Exactly. So yeah, it just financing in general has just been rough with a rescue. You have had rescue experience, so you get it. Basically, the hardest thing is always making sure there's money to be able to pay for LLCs and anything like legal we have to deal with. Like we have contracts, we have waivers, we have all these things. There's always got to be money left in the pot for that, and that's always the hardest thing to get around to.
Yeah. So do you like breed your own? Like, do you do everything you can to pinch a penny as far as like breeding your own food? Do you breed rodents? Do you breed bugs? I mean, how's that work?
So I would love to breed rodents. I actually used to have rats as pets, so it's kind of funny that I'm like cool with having them as food. But
everything's got to eat, right?
Yeah, it's a life cycle.
Well, life.
Currently not able to do it yet, just because of spacing. And I've got a lot of great people in the community that support our rescue and give me as much deals as they can. And but for the bugs, we breed almost all of our bugs. We mainly stick to dubia roaches, superworms, and mealworms. The mealworms and the superworms are really just for when those underweight animals come in, but our dubia roaches are staples that we really have to work hard to get some of these reptiles onto, because they've just been eating supers their whole life, or crickets, or hornworms, or whatever else. So all of that we don't have to pay for. Every once in a while I have to pay for supers, because my supers are always terrible for breeding for me. I have no clue why. I've never figured it out.
Do you use one of those stackable tray things or whatever?
That's what I did the first time I tried to start breeding supers, and it was unsuccessful. So what I've just been doing lately is I've just been grabbing supers once they're ready, cupping them, putting them in the dark spot, waiting for them to turn into pupas. I put them on a little cup that they can crawl off of once they're ready. And then all the guys are just in one little box. And then
a lot of work.
And then, you know, in a month or two, I take the whole thing and I dump it out into a different box and hope that something shows up. The mealworms, the dubia roaches, once you set them up, you can't get them to stop breeding. But
see, and I had the opposite. I tried to do dubias because my monitor, I was like, you know, they eat insects mainly than anything, I'm sure, especially when they're babies. So I tried to breed them. My buddy does cresteds that lives not far, and he breeds the shit out of dubias, man. And he said the same thing. He's like, I'll hook you up with a colony, and you'll be so pissed off because you'll have so many roaches. And they all just like didn't do shit.
So
I don't know.
I've had 3 colonies, 3 completely different colonies. tried 3 different ways, and my final way is my favorite way. So I have a 40-gallon tank, and I took spray paint and I spray painted the sides and the back wall. Then I left the front completely open so I could see them, because if I don't see them, I forget them. Everyone telling you to get those bins. If you have ADHD, the bins do not work. That bin is out of sight, out of mind. They're not getting fed. They're dying.
That's true. That's true. Maybe that was it. The ADHD.
I've got topsoil in there, isopods, cork bark, and a massive food bowl. Those are the 3 things I got in there. The cork bark, you never really have to clean it. I'm gonna be real. Like every few years, you should probably bake it, but for the most part, I don't really ever.
Isopods in there, so you have like a whole little.
You want an ecosystem. I don't want work on my hands. There's already way too much to do. Yeah. So isopods are really small. So with the amount of mature dead bodies you're getting, once a month to once every 2 months, I go in there and I just pick out some dead bodies, throw them away. But for the most part, the cork bark, when you go with the egg crates, they get nasty. And it smells rank too. It's so bad. So
it smells like the back room of a pet store, like a mom and pop pet store. Where you're like, I need a bag of roaches. They're like, okay, follow me, Sonny. And you're like, God, dog, what are you doing? God.
Mine smells like what one of my volunteers say is, it smells like nature in the tank. And I'm like, okay, well, that's cool.
Better than nasty roach poop.
Yep. So the cork bark is really great. You just keep it slanted just like the egg crates, and you don't have to worry about throwing out the cork bark or anything like that. Then what I do is I meal prep for some of the animals that need to meal prep. So I meal prep for my bugs. The best thing to do is buy 2 pounds of carrots, cut them all up, freeze them. And then you can just give it to them every other day. And if I forget, it's no big deal. But the most important thing when it comes to dubia roaches that no one ever works hard to achieve is the heat. If your heat isn't hitting, like, I say like 93 is a sweet spot to me. If it's not hitting 93, then they are not going to breed.
Well, my buddy, that's what he told me too about the heat. He did say, because I had to buy a heat pad, and
I have a heat pad underneath the cage. It's got an adjustable dial on it so that I don't have to have a whole temperature probe through there. I just didn't feel like dealing with it. Just adjustable dial. I adjusted it as soon as it hit 93 on the little temp gun. I was like, okay, we're good. Never touching it again.
And see, I can't have dubias here, but we have discords, and I did discords for like a couple years when I first got the bearded dragons and stuff. And that's what I did. I put them in the garage because inside, when I had them inside, they weren't breeding. And then they told me the same thing, like, look, you need them temperatures hot. So I was like, all right, I'm going to put them in the garage. And sure enough, as soon as I put them in the garage, them things started just going to town, and you have more babies in there.
That Florida weather, baby.
Mm-hmm.
I hate having to pick through all the babies and trying to find and separating them. That was the most pain in the butt part to me, was separating all those little things.
Luckily, we feed everyone, like, just like all the geckos are going to eat, all the bearded dragons are going to eat, all the big lizards are going to eat. So you're just grabbing all the size you need, and it's like, you know, they're around about the same size. As long as they're not too big, it doesn't really matter.
Right.
And the biggest thing with it is, I always tell people the heat's really important, but I always forget to tell them it's not the whole cage that needs to be 93. It is just one side that needs to be 93. Ideally not where their food is, because people try and heat the whole cage.
Oh,
they do not want that. They do not want that.
The cage out there was freaking. I mean, they're in my garage, so I can only imagine they're getting hotter than 90 something. You know, there's probably like 100 something, but they were loving it. They were chilling.
I don't know much about those. So
they weren't in the dead sun either. They're in the shade in my garage. You know, like underneath like my workbench, more or less, is where I had them. But they weren't. They were fine. They bred. If it
works, then do it.
Fact.
The biggest thing is it's got to be as convenient as possible for me. Like the meals are always great because I just feed them and they just do their own thing. Like I don't have to do anything for them.
Right.
Besides like every, probably like 6 months, change the bedding. That's it. And they just do their own thing. And it's just the easiest thing. But for, the dubias, once you set it up and you get it going, a lot of the time, the cheapest thing to do is get like anywhere from like, if you really want to get it going, I always suggest like 500 dubias. You can start off with the babies. Everyone tries to tell you get all these different sizes. You just have to wait longer with the babies.
Right,
It's cheaper, but you just
Yep.
have to wait longer is all, and feed them and make sure you don't let them die before they get to adulthood and then reproduce. But ideally 500. But if you're really patient, you could do like 100 of them, you know, and it'll get going eventually. It just takes longer is all.
Now, were you using a little gel water stuff? You know what I'm saying? Like mix it with the water and the gel.
So we just got like one of those massive tubs donated to us. I checked the expiration date and I was like, yeah, let's work.
Come on.
But if I'm being real with the frozen carrots, they get the freezer burn on them. So there's like ice cubes all over them, like little ice crystals. And they just, when I throw it in there, the bowl starts to like get a small puddle in it because of all the crystals melting. So I usually don't have to worry about water for them. They're getting it out of the carrots. They're soaked. They're good.
I feel like that's a big problem too with at least dubia. That was my problem for a while, is use egg crate like you said, and then you want to water it, so people will tell you to mist it, and you're spraying water on cardboard and it's 90 degrees in the damn tub. So of course then you start getting fungus and molds and mildews, and
that's why the cork bark is nice. I get pretty lucky with humidity that I just don't ever spray.
Well, and you keep them in a tank, and that's a good. That's going to create humidity, you know, especially if you was to put like some press and seal on the top. Old school hack, old school reptile hack. Put that shit you put on the meatloaf, put it on top of the thing and cling it to it, and your fucking tank will sweat, bro.
Yeah,
still gotta leave a little room for air, people. Okay?
Go get some watermelon. Just cut you some watermelon pieces and throw it in.
That's what I fed mine a lot of oranges and watermelons and shit like that. Yeah,
that's got
never
all
pick
the
greens.
Oh, greens will end up stinking if they don't eat it all. You know.
Yeah, they don't like it.
Okay, so bee pollen. Do you do bee pollen? Do you like mix up?
I don't do bee pollen on the like feed to the bugs, but I do it on the bugs dusted. Yeah. Okay. I don't do it every single time, but we've got like a little, so like everything in the rescue is supposed to be as easy as possible for me, but also for volunteers. So everything's labeled. So if you ever seen those little acrylic makeup drawers, we have those, but they're filled with like calcium D, calcium without D3, bee pollen, and Pangea.
Hey, if you didn't have those labels on it, and the wrong person walked in there and opened up those things, they think y'all was into some other kind of hobby.
Yeah, that is true. That is very true.
Say hello to my little makeup drawer.
Someone just going straight up to it and going, let me give it a little try.
A little calcium D for them if in the morning, you know what I'm saying?
You like bugs?
So what is, you said earlier, something about you don't really do birds, and I understand why, because it sucks.
Yeah,
but
we're talking about that.
You don't do. I know the thing that turned me off a lot was birds, but really the big turnoff for me was we adopted a hedgehog one time. Do you do any type of mammal or warm-blooded animal?
So the only thing besides reptile that we've taken in is tarantulas. If I don't know if Ari's still in the chat. But he actually adopted a curly hair from us, or nice. I think it was a curly hair. It's been a while. He
got me my tarantula, and I hate spiders, so
yeah,
he turned me a little bit
already. He's over there itching already.
Mm-hmm. He took a monster of one, and I don't know much about them, but I think they're cool and I fuck with them, so I'm like, yeah, bring them on in. Yeah. And it just completely bald butt. It was just so stressed out. And it was named Francine, and they took it, and it's just a little pet for them now. It wasn't even breeding. They just took it because they knew I was struggling to find someone to take it.
Oh,
but that's the only thing we've done. I've done a favor to a family member, and I did take in a hedgehog, and I got it adopted, but that is the only mammal I've ever done. I'm strictly reptiles. I've got a crazy busy life already with these reptiles. I got ADHD, anyone with mental health is going to be a reptile's best friend. If you are forgetful, if you mess up schedules, get them the wrong size food, all that kind of stuff, that's just even better. That mimics the wild, and that's why I do reptiles solely.
Well, you know, I like you said, like if you have any kind of mental anything, you know, depression, ADHD, if you're autistic or whatever, reptiles do help you. They really do, you know, for a multitude of reasons.
And mental illness, like there's cases where it doesn't help reptiles and you need to rehome them. We've had that happen. But there's some cases where, you know,
well, yeah, it's case by
being
case.
the way you are is so great for them. Like
I always say the reptile hobby has, everyone in the reptile hobby has some kind of mental illness. We're all crazy.
Yep.
And it's true. We all, like you told me, if you really get to know people in the reptile hobby, if you really sit down and maybe take a couple fungus caps with them or get drunk with them and start really opening up and talking about life and shit, like, you know, those conversations, you know what I mean? Late at night, you know, but you'll realize that they're just as fucked up as you are.
Yeah.
But we all like snakes.
I will say, you know, reptiles, I know a lot of people can relate to this, but reptiles save a lot of lives, a lot of human lives. You know, they are something that keeps you grounded and keeps you from, you know, leaving this plane. And that is reptiles to me. And when I'm talking to kids, you know, kids struggle with like being different in like kind of more of a negative way. So ADHD is always what I go to with them, because a lot of kids are, you know, constantly getting beaten down by their teacher for ADHD. And a lot of the kids that are coming and getting reptiles have ADHD. So I'm always like, you are the perfect person for this reptile. I have ADHD too. I forget to feed them. I, you know, decide to just feed them on this day because it's more convenient and I just happen to remember, or I switch up the food, or I fed them more last time or less this time. And it mimics the wild perfectly, because this is all stuff that would happen. They don't eat every Sunday at 2 p.m. So why am I feeding them every Sunday at 2 p.m.? That's what I tell a lot of people. And I try and convince owners to not have a schedule because they're already used to it, but they'll adapt easily to a schedule. And I tell them, if that works for you, then that's perfectly fine.
Right.
But I know that their major organs are not used to this. They have not evolved enough
biologically. No.
Care. Yes.
No.
So, and you know,
not like a dog yet. It's not like your dog yet eating bags of dog food. That's why I try to feed my dog it's really only when I have the money, honestly, but it eats raw. Like I would rather feed raw meat and raw chicken bones to my dog. And people hate me for that. They're like, you don't feed a dog chicken bones. And I'm like, you're an idiot. You don't feed a dog cooked chicken bones. Suck off. You know, and if I have videos on my Instagram of my dog eating chicken bones, and it's got the whitest teeth out of probably any dog of the haters that come on there, you know. But yeah, no, it's definitely. I think there's a lot of it in the industry of not overfeed. I don't want to say overfeeding, because the animals are unhealthy that eat every week, in my opinion. Like visually, right? Biologically, maybe whatever, but like visually, they're not nothing wrong with them. So, and they're not sick or whatever. But I do agree. Like my monitor is maybe on the smaller side to people, but I didn't start off feeding my baby monitor that was the size of a gecko fucking, you know, raw beef and fucking
and
copious amount of dog food and shit. Yeah, like I ain't doing that. Like, because think about, like you said, in the wild, how long is that lizard even going to acknowledge the fact that it has to eat that bug? And then, how long is it going to take for it to catch one and eat it? You know, one bug a week, you know, maybe in the wild is what a fucking baby lizard's eating. Maybe. It's not like the mom is like, hey, son, this is what you got to eat, and this is how you do it. The mom's gone a month before.
Also, by you doing that raw diet too, that you're activating enzymes in their stomach that they don't use on a normal basis, that naturally in the wild they would be using on a normal basis. So it's kind of good to like kick those in their body and use some of that stuff that I feel like, there's a lot of stuff that we have changed that naturally things in their body would do or have to react to certain things that they don't do, and that needs to naturally happen at least some type of time in their lifetime, like
That's why it's good.
Not fixed and then just let him never do his thing. You're gonna have some problems with your dog, like there's like a lot of things like with the whole same thing with like getting your dog fixed. I have a whole situation over that where I don't agree with it at all. I don't do it at all because a lot of dogs don't live that long.
It changes their hormonal imbalance.
Yep.
Well, you're cutting off a piece of its anatomy.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like,
honestly, and it's crazy to think that
it's more health problems.
A lot of things just get so normalized that the people that don't do it are like, ridiculed for doing it. And it's hey, no, this isn't safe to do. This wasn't a thing we did long ago. Why are we normalizing this actual like unsafe behavior in animals in general?
Yep.
Well, even the vet will do it to you. If you take your animal to the vet, they'll literally tell you that animal needs, like a dog, for instance. We're talking about dogs. If you take your dog to the vet, they're going to try to hit you with a $500-$600 bill when it goes for a checkup, for its month or its yearly checkup, right? Because they're going to say it needs this, 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 and by the time they get done, it's 20 things that you don't even know what they do. And then when you ask them and you say, see, I tell my vet knows I ain't playing that game. I'm getting my rabies shot, and you can give him the little fucking vaccine to where he can be, in the kennel if he needs to on an emergency, whatever. But I'm not doing all that other stuff. And they're like, well, why don't you do it? And I'm like, come here, boy. Come here. There ain't nothing wrong with this motherfucker, okay? This dog lives like a king.
Yep.
He's in a queen size bed every night, and he ain't shitting out spaghetti noodles. So there ain't nothing wrong with him. I don't need all that shit. And you'll find out 9 times out of 10, all this extra stuff with animals is really not necessary.
A lot of it is pharmaceutical drugs that they're testing on your dog before they give to you, and you just don't realize it, nor do you know it.
Yeah, I try and stick with like nonprofit groups or smaller vet businesses. It just makes me feel safer as a person when it comes to, dogs and reptiles. Smaller businesses make me feel more comfortable. And then the other thing is, if I don't understand what they're saying, I'm going to research right in front of them and
I'll make them
at them and question them, because it's already, with running a rescue, it's already hard enough to like pay for each thing, but you have love for each animal. I had my dog, he passed away like 8 months ago now, and I miss him so much, but he lived for like 17 and a half years, and man, he was pushing it, but
yeah, he did. I was going to say he did good.
yeah, he was pushing it, but it was always a thing of, I was that annoying person that questioned everything they were saying. And
I do that. I don't think it's annoying, and I guarantee you that your vet appreciates the fact that you're asking it. If you have a good
I know
vet.
my exotics vets love me. I have a feeling my
exotic vets. You have a pretty good exotic vet up in Virginia.
Yeah, I go to 2 different ones. I go to Pender Exotics, which is currently, it's usually just based off, who's cheaper every few years. We get the discount, but it's just still money rises. Pender Exotics is more
That's
of
good.
a
They
chain.
give you kind of a discount though.
Yeah.
Help you out because you're a rescue. That's awesome.
Pender Exotics is more of a chain for dogs and cats, and they do exotics. They have an exotics department. So they're really great because their exotics department, it doesn't mesh with the cat and dog. These are people that are trained in exotics, and their chains for exotics is not much. It's just like a few locations. Then we have Stall Exotics, and they're a smaller business. I don't think they have any chains, and they're really great too. We have all of our educators have their yearly vet visits. All these animals here go through a 2-week quarantine. They get a health check, and if they fail either of those, they go to the vet immediately. So we're checking everywhere they don't want us to check, basically, and we're the worst person ever to them. But unfortunately, it's just what you got to do.
Right.
So we're pretty frequent flyers in those two vets.
Hell yeah.
Go
But
say-
it's good to have a exotic vet. We literally don't have an exotic vet here anymore. He was a big scuba diver. He went scuba diving one day and never came back. Like
Oh
he
my
never
gosh.
came back out of the water. They don't know what. Yeah, just gone, bro. That's why I don't fuck with the ocean. You know what I'm saying?
Give it and take it away real quick.
Take it the fucketh awayeth really quickest. I tell you that. And since we got Nico in the house, I think you said he was giving you shit last time about this show right here. So we're gonna play his commercial. Enjoy.
Beasts, Brews, and Botany is the most unique reptile show in Northern Virginia and maybe in the country. It's at Eavesdrop Brewery that has delicious alcoholic beverages and a wonderful array of food in the area as well. Courtyards to chill in. It's dog friendly. It's kid friendly. You can bring the whole entire family out. You can get all your plants, arachnids, reptiles. You could get dart frogs, vampire crabs, and take photos with reptiles as well. The first Sunday of each month at Eavesdrop Brewery is Beasts and Brews, so the reptile show. And the second Sunday of every month is Brews and Botany at Eavesdrop Brewery. Now, this event is held by my good friend Kiko, and he actually has a variety of carnivorous plants as well. He ships said carnivorous plants anywhere in the United States, including Alaska and Hawaii. So that's Venus flytraps, sundews, any carnivorous plant you could want. Go give him a follow at Flora Esoterica on Instagram and Facebook. And definitely, if you're in Northern Virginia, you need to check out Beasts, Brews, and Botany. You will not be disappointed.
Come on.
There you go, Kiko.
I can't say enough good things about Beast and Brews. It is such a great event. That was there was a clip of me walking into the building. The lizard that Mark was holding, that's my tegu. And then we had the little photo booth in the corner. Man, we're there every month. We had to miss last month. That's what I got shit for. I made the year schedule for it, and for some reason in my head, it was impossible for February to be the first Sunday of the month. And I booked an event that day, and I wasn't able to go. So it was like the first one I had missed. And
Excuses.
For real. Honestly, I felt so bad, and I'm sure the show was amazing anyways, but we're the entertainment portion for that event. So if Kiko needs an extra table, then I'll bring an extra table. I'll have adoptable animals on it. I'll have supplies. We get a lot of stuff donated to us, and if we already have it or can't use it, what we'll do is we'll clean it, we'll sanitize it, and we'll sell it for way discounted. So we always got really good deals on stuff like that. We have a $5 bin that's always getting rummaged through like crazy. But the main thing we do is our photo booth. Our photo booth, we have a backdrop. It's all white. It's got our logo plastered all over it. And people pay, $10 to hold one reptile. There's no real time limit on it. Take photos, hang out. Or they pay $20 to hold 3 reptiles, and we usually have the same set 4 that come. And I can't tell you, every time I'm there, you get a free drink, which is always great. They always
Dude, that's the best thing. Okay, the coolest things about this show, and Kiko told me about it, it blowed me away, right? Okay, number one, let's just go through the top 3.
And buy animals.
Well, look, number one, free entry. He said it's free.
Entry, yes.
Okay, free entry. Okay, that's number one right off the rip. I'm a cheapskate. I'm a Ricky Ricardo of breeding ball pythons. You hear me? I'm a cheap bastard. So free entry's dope. Then he said it's at a brewery. Okay, of course, we're on the Sippin' Show. I love beer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and beer, a venue that has beer in it is the best venue to me.
They've got great food.
Yeah, well, the food, I'm not counting that because I'm going to go number 3 because I'm a musician. I don't know if people know, but I have literal instruments surrounding me and throughout my house. So he said they have bands a lot of times.
Yep, in the warmer season, there's always live music, and I haven't heard a bad band there. Yeah.
Regardless if they're bad, you're drunk and you have a snake around your neck. So why do you care? Shit,
And they
dude.
bring out a full setup, you know. They'll play outside the whole time and they bring a full setup.
So dope.
It's not just a mic and some karaoke stuff. It's, you know, they've got the nines when they bring out
I think when it warms up, I'm gonna try to just take a weekend and just drive up there for a show and hang out with everybody because there's a bunch of people in freaking Virginia that I've like met lately. It seems like you were saying earlier, there's like a group of people that's like hardly nothing but Virginians.
People got Adrian, Kyle, Ari, and I got KD. You know what I'm saying? Come on,
Kiko, everybody. B Moore, James.
Yeah, James.
Fucking everybody is in Virginia, and it's like the list goes on and on. It's really crazy.
Yeah, there's we've got the 2-day expo out already. Let me just double check the dates so that I can quickly.
Yeah, you don't want to get it wrong.
No, I really don't, because I'm telling you, I messed up this. I made the year expo so that everyone could have it. I made the advertisement for it and I messed up the dates on it. So we've got April 25th and 26th. Most likely 12 p.m. to 4 p.m., but we'll run later sometimes. This is Beast Brews and Botonomy. So you got the indoor space where we've got 4 to 5 vendors in there for reptiles, which, mind you, he switches out vendors. Well, exotic animals. Let me say that properly. He switches out vendors all the time. So you're seeing a lot of new stuff every time he comes. So it's worth coming each time to see a new person. And then you've got the outdoor space, which I think last time we had a 2-day event, it was like at least 15 to 20 plant vendors. And there was even some cool 3D printed stuff out there too. For the indoor space, he's very specific. He checks out people before they even get to be going to his shows. So Kiko does his work on these shows.
Awesome.
Let's go.
I like it when people actually put the work in and they just don't sell a table to somebody to get the damn money.
Yep. For right now, the Beast and Brews, the vendors are actually free. I know the plants, so the Botonomy and Brews has been going a lot longer than the Beast and Brews, so they are paying for their spot. Eventually, it'll be that way for Beast and Brews, but it just shows how much compassion he has for a good
That's what I'm saying. He's basically just letting people market their stuff and sell stuff, and he's not asking for anything. Like that's
sweet. You can
no one cares, because I've been doing expos for 3.5 years, and the upcharging, the the general care, because then it sometimes reflects onto the vendors themselves, where
that's why exactly
as much.
They're gonna mark their shit up because they have to pay on that overhead that they have on that show, and that's why I'm real selective about what I've been. I'm not, and I don't want to throw names, but I'm not been in a Repticon show. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to have this, you have to have that. You got to have 5 different things before you can even vend it, and all of it costs money.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's making it harder for people to start off, and you need somewhere to start. Eventually you're going to get big and be able to do those things if you want to, but when you're first starting off, it shouldn't be so hard.
Well, it seems like it's a kind of not small, but it's not, it's cozy. You know what I'm saying? Like that show anyway, and I like that. I'm serious. Like I've talked to Kiko about it. I want to drive up. I want to fucking have Justin fly up because he's not going to drive. But I want to plan something and come up there and do a sipping show on a Saturday during the day, like a special at that brewery.
That would be so cool.
Dope.
If you guys were live,
we can go stay at my granddad's house and get drunk at my uncle too.
There you go. Have an after party at Unc's house.
I got family in Virginia, so let's go.
I would be drunk as fucking Cooter Brown because I'm at a brewery and it's Saturday, nice in Virginia, but it would be fun.
I call my uncle to come pick us up. I'm like, hey!
Nick's drunk. He's passed out in the bed of the truck.
He'll be drunk himself, shit.
The whole place is like really nice. They've got it's connecting buildings, so there's food, and I think there's an ice cream shop.
There is ice cream. Kyle told me about the ice cream, dude. That's dope.
So you can just walk over and then come right back because there's no fee to get into the brewery. There's no fee to get into the expo. You know, you can go take a break, go get food, and then just come right back to the reptiles. And the scenery out there is really pretty. Like they've made it like a really cool place to hang out.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the time when I can actually come up there and do it. That would be so much fun. We'll have to make that work. After I get my mini fridge, once I get my mini fridge for my reptile room full of beer, then I'll start planning that trip.
We'll go to the where that would go to last time. I think it was called the Melting Pot. It's a pizza place over there in Virginia. I can't remember exactly.
Oh, you went
yeah. I actually do know. Yeah, you should definitely go there.
It's been there for years. My mom went there as a kid to get pizza and shit, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So is that like you said you do shows, but like you plan that show or like have something to do with the planning of that one? Do you do other shows? Is there like do you do other shows than that? I guess is what I'm asking.
Yeah, so usually in the winter it's a little bit slower for shows. We have this show that we go to every month on the Beast and Brews show every month, the first Sunday of every month. But then we usually fit another expo in too. We usually don't have reptiles adopted out at expos because of the crazy process I told you we make people go through to adopt. So usually they're not prepared unless they're picking up at an expo, which I'm actually going as a customer to an expo just to do a drop off, which I don't normally do, but it's because it's a Savannah monitor. I'm like, I need this thing out, please. You've been perfect. You've done all the requirements. I will drive an hour. Yes. But we do expos. Well, usually it's harder nowadays, I feel like, with expos because we used to do a lot better with expos. The photo booth really helps us. So we always try and have the photo booth, but we'd usually have 3 tables plus the photo booth to fit one table full of adoptable animals and some small advertisement stuff. We do stickers. If you follow us on social media, you get a laptop reptile sticker per account you follow. Then we have a second table with the hides, the bowls, the $5 bin, and then the third table's got all the tanks on it. And then you got the photo booth right after that.
So it shows you basically sell material objects.
Yep. I usually do really good on that kind of stuff because we're usually the cheapest because nothing's brand new. We rarely get brand new stuff. Whatever people donate to us that we just can't use, we have too many of it. It's, broken. A lot of the tanks, all of our tanks actually are front opening. So if someone donates a top opening tank, we're not going to use it. We have a system in place. Top opening's too much work. For how many tanks we have to go through and do stuff in, it's not worth it. So a lot of that stuff we'll sanitize it, we'll clean it, and sell it there. Basically to help out other people because getting reptiles, getting all the setup, it's hard. And a lot of the time we're our own worst enemy, mainly me, because I make the volunteers do it too. But when someone's buying a tank, we won't sell you a tank if you are putting the wrong animal into it or the animal's way too big for it. Water bowls, hides, same thing. We're going to be honest with you. We don't want the animal to deal with it. They'll go to another table and they'll buy it or they'll listen to us. We'll offer a deal on the next item just to, get them to do right by the animal. But doing right by animals is expensive. So we want to make it easy. We want to make it not be terrible.
It is expensive. And I think a lot of it has to do with, and I'm just going to be honest because I don't give a shit. But like, I think a lot of it is over. I don't know how to put this. It's like how people baby their dogs or their cats to the point to where it's like, that's not a human, bro. Like it doesn't need all this shit to survive and be happy and thrive, And I think a lot of it is overly done just so that companies can make money, right?
Yeah,
because you can get away with not having it. Like I said about the medicine they try to give you at the vet for the dog. You don't really need it, but they recommend it. And it's probably not bad to do it, but it's probably not it doesn't have to happen. You know,
technically, you don't even have to go to the vet. You can go to the feed store and get the shot kit.
Well, yeah, exactly.
It
Yeah,
has the rabies and has everything with it. And
like
even
a
some
7-in-1 or 9-in-1.
you used to have to fill out the paperwork and mail it in, and they would mail you rabies tag. Now the kits come with the rabies tag already in it, so you and the numbers already. You just mail in the paperwork, and the tag's already there. You just take some pliers and bend the little thingy on there and call it a day.
Well,
But
I'm
it's
talking
crazy.
about
Like, you really don't have to do all this extra
freaking-
shit. You don't. You don't have
Yeah,
to.
there's a lot of stuff like that's just overpriced, like PVC
Yeah.
tanks or something that I was
Yeah.
talking about earlier. Grow tents that are made for reptiles or not made for reptiles are something that's very inexpensive and can make your life so much easier. But you have all the stuff that's, glass tanks with these extra features that make them look really cool and pretty to look at, but they're costing like $1,000. The 6-footers that we have here, we had to be very specific because of sanitation reasons, and a lot of the stuff I was seeing was anywhere from $1,000 $3,000, and it's just
You need to
it's
look
not
at.
needed.
I'm sure you have, but I know we're vision, but as far as your situation goes, I would look into animal plastics.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be getting more 6-footers in the next, I think 3-4 months, something like that. We need some more for the educational animals that stay here permanently. They need upgrades, so it's time to do it. But for the most part, it's going to be a whole research thing. Like, I've got plenty of time. I'm going to take a
Well, I would definitely keep that in the back of your mind, because I know they're PVC cages, I mean, they're nothing really extravagant, but they do have the front sliding. You can get doors, you can get sliding glass, but they're not really expensive. I mean, honestly, and Vision might hate this, but honestly, they're really fairly priced. Like, I think when I got mine a long time ago for that boa, it was like $300 or something for like a 4-foot, which ain't bad, for a really deep cage, it's not bad.
I'm always trying to look into any way to save money.
Oh yeah, I understand that for sure. I
mean,
know
it's
you
like-
struggle.
Kind of like you said, though, like a lot of shit's overpriced. Even when it comes, it's not even just down to the products we need, but even down to the animals. But I'm sorry, like when you see for instance, a ball python that's $30,000, it's not fucking logical.
That's
like
ridiculous.
it's not logical. It's not. I'm sorry, but it's not.
I see like both that and the exact opposite, where
Same
you've
with
got
dogs,
Yeah. You've got like normal ball pythons being sold for $10 out of bag, or you've got a ball python that is a normal being sold for like $300, and it's like, come on. My biggest thing with ball pythons, since we're bringing it up, is they are just overbred. I love ball pythons, but everyone's breeding them, and I'm glad I didn't get far into it, because I didn't realize just every expo you've got like, I don't know, probably like 50% of the tables got ball pythons on them.
I would say higher than that. I would say almost 90% of tables.
I'm thinking about tables that just have ball pythons.
Oh,
Or ball python
now
breeders.
you can't with Repticon, I believe. You can't just have ball pythons and been a table anymore. You have to.
I can respect that.
Unless you're like, I guess, some of the bigger guys like Canovo, or you got. I definitely know some that are definitely still gonna be grandfathered in. But from my understanding, like, these newer cats that are coming in, they're not. You have to have multiple species to put.
Yeah, but you also know what shows like Repticon do too, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They also make it to where, like, say I sold rodents, right? They're not going to let me sell rodents there.
Yes. And I really don't like this for any feeder breeders, but you guys should be able to compete just like the rest of us.
There's a lot of favoritism.
It is not fair that there is only one breeder of bugs, of rodents. It's not fair. I'm going to be honest, like, it's not fair to the customers either, to the other vendors, because there's been times where, I was stuck with someone that it was at, a specific, company's expos where they only had this person. and I don't like their stuff. It's not that quality. It was overpriced, and there was no one competing with them. The places that I love is if you are a customer or a vendor enough, you know who's got the under the table stuff, and you can go find them, or you can talk to someone and be like, who's selling under the table.
That's what I was gonna
And
say.
it's ridiculous they have to do that.
Well, I've only did one show where there was a monopoly on shit like that, I guess is the right word. That they only have certain people that they allow to do certain things, sell certain shit at shows. So I had a guy come up to me at a show,
Kind of fucked up.
tell me that I had to take my isopods off the table because I couldn't sell isopods because so-and-so isopod man or whatever the fuck his name was sold them, and they had a contract with that show, right? They traveled with them, whatever, and I was selling them. And I went and looked at his prices, and I was breeding isopods, and I had fucking so many isopods. Like I was like, my prices were like $5 for 50 isopods. You know what I mean? And they didn't like that. So what I did, I'm an asshole. So what I did is I was going to give them away anyway. Look at the price, right? I'm not making anything off this shit. So I would see people walking by, and I would be like a dope dealer. I'd be like, here. I'd give it to them. I would just, and since they did that, they said I couldn't sell them. So I'm a loophole dude. You know what I mean?
I can't sell them. I can give them away.
I gave them away, and that dude
isopod guy ain't selling shit this show.
Yeah, I probably gave away 500 to 1,000 isopods at that show.
I love that you did that.
No, that dude was pissed, but I don't care. Fuck that.
Hey, I would have done the same thing though. I would have been pissed.
I know it's not really his, like it's not too much of like his fault that it's set up that way. He got the contract. It was that company's rule.
Well, this was an exception. This dude was a douchebag, and he was the guy. You ain't selling isopods in my town. I'm like, bitch.
So, but I'm a big fan of doing that, because if enough people, enough vendors are sticking it to it, things can change. But the issue is a lot of us vendors get treated like we're easy to replace. Someone else will take your spot. And it's true. Someone else will. But, we had something that happened pretty controversial in VA where one company left this specific location and another company was taking it up, and everyone that had been doing that location for years, like I think this expo was going for some decades, and everyone split up, and it became a whole thing of like, you're on this side or you're on this side. And it didn't help anyone, it didn't help the vendors to be this way, because all it did was you're now driving further to go to this event, and you just lost the place you loved just to make a point of sticking with someone that either you really like and does do you right, or going with someone else that doesn't do you right. It's just this whole thing of not enough of us are sticking together, and
it's a lot of politics.
A lot of us are just going with what the owners say, and it makes it harder because people like you who just wanted to sell isopods this one expo, couldn't sell them.
Yeah.
And I think competition is very good. If you have good quality stuff, then you should be able to sell it with your words and with what you show to the table. The way you set up your table, the way you speak about what you're doing, the way you, just in general run your business. No matter if your prices are higher, you will still get more competition, but there's some days where you do got to drop your price to compete. Everyone else does, so I think y'all should too, and I think customers would prefer it.
I think there's less favoritism and more fairness, and have rules in place, and that's just how it goes. Like, say for instance, like Repticon, when they're doing this, people are signing up for their tables and stuff. You should have, all right, say you have like a Jacksonville Repticon coming up, you should have an opening window. All right, we're going to open up on our website from this day to this day for you to book a table. First come, first serve. Not favoritism to, we're guaranteed going to favor these 20 guys, and then maybe we'll just randomly pick 5 guys over here. That's not how it should be. there should literally be a window open. And if that window's open for 2 hours and everybody hopped on it within 2 hours and booked all those tables, then so be it. First come, first serve. Whoever was sitting there paying attention and on their shit and on their game got it. It was a fair gameness to me. It wasn't favoritism. And there's a lot of like, that's the dirty part that's in this hobby is there's a lot of favoritism and a lot of dirtiness, backdoor shit and pointing fingers and stuff. It's kind of messed up.
The only thing I don't love about first come, first serve is you wind up with expos that it all has all the same thing.
That too.
I'm fine.
Your rules and your requirements.
Well, you have to put limits on it. I mean, you have to put the first 5 for rodents, the first 10 for bugs, the first 20 for snakes, whatever, you know.
I like that then. That's what I feel like Kiko does.
Yeah, there have to be stipulations on it.
Yeah, there's got to be requirements for sure. You got to. It can't just be like, okay, everybody, because then like you just said, then we're going to have all ball python people. That just can't happen, you know.
Well, we're working on an hour 30, a little over. We usually don't go too much over because, you know, people got lives and, you know, I got stuff to do too. But no, there's other shows and stuff going on as well. But I've loved this. We never had really a rescue person on. I knew a lot about rescues, but I've also learned a lot too, you know, and I know we've talked about some weird things, maybe some things that we might not agree on, but it's awesome that we can have a conversation and it not be nothing about it, you know. And everybody, just remember, you're entitled to your opinions. Don't ever think that you're not. If you're ever in a setting where you think that you shouldn't say something because it might offend somebody, you're probably hanging around the wrong people, and you probably need to go find some cooler people.
Yep.
So what do you want to tell everybody before, you know, we end this?
Oh, that puts me on the spot.
You really want to be on the spot? Hold on, I'll put you on the spot. Here. Give us that.
Great. Just, you know, make sure when you're getting reptiles, make sure to, you know, do your due diligence. Big thing in the reptile world is a lot of newbies just trust what they hear. Don't trust what you hear. Do research. And, you know, finally stay away from like box chains.
Yep. And if anybody wants to find you, I know we got the QR code up here for people that might not have seen that, like Duval. If you're still there, we love you. He can't see, so he's blind. So where can they find you?
So an easy way to find us is just Googling us, Magnum Exotics, Reptile Rescue. And also just on social media, Magnum Exotics is a great way to find it. If you Google us, there's a link tree just like that QR code gives, where it gives you all the links to our donation platforms, all the links to our social medias, and all the links to like Amazon wishlist and Amazon storefront. So if you're looking for suggested products or you're looking to send an item to one of our scaly babies, that is a great way to do it.
Awesome. Well, I have enjoyed this. What I'm going to do is I'll kick you backstage. If you want to, you can hang out for a minute. We usually cut up for a couple minutes backstage after the show, but if you have stuff to do, it's understandable. But let's give it up.
Thank you for having me. I'll see you backstage.
Oh yeah, for sure. Thank you for give it up for the Magnum Exotics Rescue.
We got some sound effects on it. We've been slacking on these things, right?
You've been slacking.
Oh yeah, look at him over there.
No, I enjoyed this episode, man. I love it. I love the aspect of rescues, but I know it's a pain in the ass, bro.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of work. It's a lot of work for sure.
Thank you for the people that do it. And like Ashley put up the link right there, everybody. You can actually click that because she's blue. So you can click that link, give her a follow on every platform. And with that, Justin, what do you want to tell everybody before we get out of here? What up, Tarantula Fairy? You're late, man.
Look at her. Oh, it looks like she's been paying attention. She said great shows.
Thank you. You got to let me know you're here so I can tell you how much I appreciate you being here early, okay?
You know? Well, I can tell everybody in chats, thank you guys for coming out. We definitely couldn't do it without you guys. The reason why we do it. And Katie, I know she's backstage, but it was definitely nice meeting her, knowing all the stuff that she's got going on over there, and knowing the troubles and the trials and tribulations of what you go through of when you're doing rescues for these animals. It's a lot of work, a lot of craziness. I'm sure you see. So definitely give it up to her, guys. And with that note, I got my Choochie next to me. Gotta love that Chooch. And guys, be kind to one another. Be kind to one another. Get my speed. That's why you're laughing. I know why you're laughing, because you're like, where those speed humps at? It ain't happening.
Damn. Well, if y'all want to hear him talk about speed humps and shit, go watch one of our past shows. Keep that on replay for me and Justin. We would appreciate it. Thank all of y'all for coming out every Saturday. Y'all fucking rock. I'm not going to tell you who I got next week. It'll be a surprise. So stay tuned for that. And don't forget, RWO for Life. Every Thursday, you got the RWO show on the RWO broadcast channel on YouTube. You need to be there. If you're not there, you're missing out, because we give away stuff. We got merch. We got RWO cash. There's cool little games that Ken likes to play all the time. Well, some of them are cool. Some of them are just weird.
My second half, when she's like, for life.
Yeah, we need Alex. We're going to have to get her on a video doing that. So
I know. I told her that's what we need. So when we say for life, we just got her.
Mom, if you're watching this, make that video for Dad so he can put it in the StreamYard. Everybody, you kick ass. LMK show Tuesday. You already know that on LMK Reptiles. You know who Ken is, so that goes without saying. And like Mitzi said, don't forget to smash the like button and hit that bell so you don't miss any Sipping with Serpents shows. KD, you rock. Thanks for coming on. We'll see you back there. Here we come. Later.